have, sir?
Yes, please. Please have a seat. So Abhishek, you are working in the government right now. So what difference you feel in the working of government organization and the private organizations? You also worked with the private organizations earlier.
Yes, sir. So the difference I have noticed is that in private sector the decision were taken in a more decentralized manner, but the decisions in the government sector, I have witnessed that there are certain basically rules and regulations process to be followed, and also, sir,
Okay, which organizations are more efficient, private sector or public sector?
sir, in terms of efficiency, I would say that private sector are more efficient because they have a quick decision making process that they follow. So in terms of efficiency, I would say private sector takes the...
Okay, so what can be done to improve the efficiency of government organizations?
Sir, to improve the efficiency, I would say that the people at the basically who are in the districts, and they have to be more empowered with respect to decision making in terms of routine decisions also, and also the suggestions that they are giving to the upper authorities, that also should be in a streamlined manner and should be acted upon very swiftly.
Okay. What is your leadership style?
Sir, I would say that my leadership style has been a transformational leadership, wherein I try to see that what all challenges that my team is facing, and try to see that how what changes can be brought to basically iron out those challenges towards the particular direction of the strategic objectives. And with that, I also basically try to lead by example by basically acting on the same direction that I give to my team.
Okay,
So
can you give some example of where you have acted as a transforming leader and it has brought some positive results in the past?
Sir, so basically I was when I was working with Hotstar, so therein it was basically a decision to be taken in terms of that should we go for the smaller companies, or we should only target for the bigger budget companies to get the advertising for that. So initially we were only targeting the bigger companies, but then I thought that it would be better if we also try to build in the smaller company for the large revenue in the longer term. So therein I myself went to with my team to all these different companies to pitch in the Hotstar, and it actually worked wonders, wherein my team also felt motivated, and they also tried to go to the these companies, meet them on their own also.
Okay. How is the transformational leader different from charismatic leader?
Sir, a charismatic leader leads mainly because of the innate personality characteristics that the person possesses in terms of being visionary, and also he or she has a very great communication abilities that he or she uses in terms of motivating the team. And transformational leadership is even if the person is not that charismatic in terms of in the communication and also, but if he or she understands the challenges of the persons better and a good motivator, then he or she will be a transformation leader.
Okay, do you think our present Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, is he a transformative leader or a charismatic leader?
Sir, I would say he has shown in qualities that are mix of both. So he is a very good orator, has some vision for India, and hence he's a very charismatic leader that people while listening to him actually follows him what he says. And also transformational because he has time and time again shown that taking care of what state's demands are, what are different demands of the different people, for example farmers, for example poor, for all these taken into consideration, and then trying to draw the schemes with help of the expertise of the specialists and also the government servants. So I would say it's a mix of both.
Right. So people usually have the negative perception about the working of the government organizations. So do you think that perception is correct perception?
Sir, the perception is basically that that government organizations function in a way which is very slow and also ineffective along with being inefficient. But I have witnessed in my limited experience in the past 1 year where I have been training. So my experience is that this is not the case. Actually, we have really good people within the government sector who are very good leaders, and also they enable their teams to function in a manner that they feel empowered to give suggestions, and also that, and also within the data is one basically sphere where the government is now using the data oriented techniques to bring about the policy changes also. So I would say that the perception needs to be changed a little bit according to the realities that I have witnessed in the government sector.
But you yourself told that government organizations are not efficient as compared to private sector.
Yes, sir. So efficient as in, sir, the fastness of the procedures, but when it comes to effectiveness of the decisions, then I would say that government is able to bring the effective decisions, because the decisions are very complex to make in government. When it comes to government decisions, it reaches to many different people, and many different stakeholders need to be incorporated, and a lot of discussions are to be done. So hence efficiency takes a back step a little bit, but then effectiveness ensures that the policy decision is such that everybody target segment is able to benefit out of that.
Right, very true. So recently the government of India brought a white paper on Indian economy. Have you seen some highlights of that paper?
A few highlights, sir. Yes, I have seen that.
Okay. So do you think it is a political document or an economic document?
Sir, from the face of it, it looks more of a political document, I would say, because it has been comparing all the bad decisions of the previous government and the good decisions of the government today, and there is no mention of any basically drawbacks or any mechanisms of the current government also. So I would say more of a political document, and with the timing also, just before the election that it has been come.
Right. Okay. Are you aware about the recent trends in the capital markets?
In the capital market, sir? Sir, not aware, sir.
Okay. Is it on the bullish phase or bearish phase?
Sir, the stock markets are in the bullish phase right now, and we are seeing that the stocks have been increasing mostly, but then there are certain declines in certain days, but there are positive.
What are the reasons for that overall bullish market?
Sir, overall bullish market can be attributed to the basically good economic growth of the country. Then second is that the policies that the government is taking and the budget that has come with the capitalization expenditure, and also to an extent of 10 lakh crores and other things, other information in the budget. So that is now basically boosting the capital sector.
Right. Are you aware about the P2P lending platforms?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you please share the working of these P2P lending platforms? How do they work?
These platforms work through an app or a website, and they basically reach out to they basically provide an option to the customers to get the loans at interest rates which are normally higher than that they get from the banks, and they provide the loans with respect to that. And basically the background checks are not that significant done, and because of that the interest rates are higher, and the amount of loan that is given is lower than what they get from the banks.
Okay. Are these regulated in India or unregulated?
Sir, I am not aware of the same, sir.
Okay. Are you aware about the recent action which RBI has taken on the online lending apps?
Sir, I have a little bit information about the same. So, sir, that it has been said that basically that there has to be registration that needs to be done from P2P lending platforms, and also the other advertising companies are also asked to basically not to advertise before doing the regular background check of the particular platform, and also the KYC of the customer has to be done very effectively.
Right. So you have been the student of economics as well.
Yes, sir.
What are the differences between the digital rupee and the online net banking that we presently use?
Sir, with respect to the difference, I would say that first is online banking is basically using the money that we have in the savings account or to do a certain transaction without any exchange of the physical rupee. Digital rupee is basically that the amount in itself is in a tokenized form and can be used basically in a targeted form. For example, it can be said by the RBI that this amount of the digital rupee can be used only for certain transactions, so that can be regulated. Other than that, sir, I have to read on more on that.
Right. So there will not be printing cost also.
There will not be printing cost.
Yes, right. Are you aware about the word digital public infrastructure, which has been used recently in the Indian interim budget?
Yes, sir.
So what are the components of digital public infrastructure?
Sir, the digital public infrastructure basically stands for anything created on digital platforms to make sure that the implementation and execution of the policies in an effective manner. And the components can be that basically the government to consumer platforms. For example, Umang app can be said to be a digital public infrastructure. Then also to improve the government to government interaction. For example, Gati platform, and also to basically improve our productivity in different sectors. For example, agriculture. AgriStack is one of the key DPI that government has been focusing on.
Right. So you are working as a Indian cost accounting. You are being trained as a Indian cost accounting in the service, right?
So civil account service.
Sorry, civil account service. Sorry.
Yes.
So, what is the challenge which government is facing regarding the implementation of accrual accounting?
So the first challenge is that basically accrual accounting is mainly used by the companies which are more profit oriented, but the government is not profit oriented. It has to maintain some social, so it has to cater to some social needs. That is one. Then second is that basically the existing infrastructure, not the infrastructure but the skilled person that we have in the government, they are not that skilled to adopt the accrual practices in the short term. So that is longer term vision of the government. And other than that, sir, because for government it is very important to know the cash inflow and cash outflow, which is more effectively registered in the cash accounting process rather than the accrual accounting processes. So these are the three challenges, I would say.
Are you aware about the government accounting standards, Indian government accounting standards?
Sir, I'm not able to recall at this point in time.
Right. So, in India, private remittances, are they part of national income?
Yes, sir, they are part of the national income. National income, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I think that they are part of the national income.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure about it.
Right. So, what are the structural differences between the Indian economy and Chinese economy?
Sir, Indian economy is a mixed economy with both capitalist and socialist structure to it, while Chinese economy is more of a basically socialist economy. And also basically the state regulation and state is higher in the Chinese economy as compared to India, which is basically that India tries to empower the private sector and basically keeps a hands-on approach only for the strategic sectors. But in China, I believe that they have they're into different sectors also.
Then what are the reasons that China has grown so fast, not India? If it is like putting more regulations, it is also not very, it is not using much of the capitalist principles. So, still how the China has grown so fast that it is almost 4 times of the Indian economy.
Sir, I think this is because China focused on different sectors in a very strategic way. For example, in the agriculture sector, they focused on increasing productivity of the farms. For that, they basically brought in mechanization and also enabled the farmers to basically focus on the productivity improvement. And then manufacturing, they focused on building industries and also focusing on how to build manufacturing within the country, which has helped to create employment within the country. And also exports is one thing that they focused upon. So while India, in comparison to that, we have missed in terms of moving from agriculture to manufacturing. We have directly moved to services, which has led to the creation of basically not creation of that much employment as Chinese had done.
Right. So, what is the difference between the management and administration?
Sir, I think management and administration. So administration and management both are basically similar approach, but then administration is more used towards the government perspective, but management is more towards the in both private and public. And other than that, sir, management is about basically how to utilize the resources effectively to get to some required goals and objectives. Administration is also about designing those goals and objectives, that what are the different objectives that a organization has, and then goes for the management.
Right. So as you have been you already worked in private organizations. Right now you're working in the government organization. So are you satisfied with the working in government organization currently?
Sir, yes, sir, I am very much satisfied. And also because when I was working in the private sector, I had this thought of basically contributing my knowledge in the government sector, which is creating directly impact on the people. So basically, currently I am part of the Indian Civil Account Service. So we are working in improving the financial structure of the entire government, and also which is basically leading to the very effective way of targeting people, and also leading the benefits of the schemes to the last mile.
Okay, what are the exact job profile of this civil account service?
So civil account service basically has a few responsibilities. So first is to manage the public financial system of the country. Then second is do the internal auditing of all the ministries and departments, civil ministries except railways, defense and telecom. So all three ministries have their separate accounting services. Other than that, and also, sir, basically to advise on the new accounting procedures and rules and regulations that should be adopted by the government to ensure that there is basically there is transparency and everything is accounted for in the proper heads.
Right. In the current times of good use of technology, and we are working with the convergence approach. So as you are saying that there are 4 accounting services, don't you think we should combine these accounting services into one accounting service? Civil account service, defense account service, and this postal and telecom service, and there is one more service.
Yes, sir. Sir, while there are certain challenges, but then for the cause of achieving the economies of scale, and also for the effective exchange of knowledge between these 4 different accounting services, I think merger should be the course of action. So one is because it will ensure that the best practices of all the accounting services are followed entirely by both civil and defense ministries, and yes, sir, so I think it should be merged.
So do you think people who are being hired in the civil accounting service, they should be hired only from the finance background? If we are hiring the people from the journalist background, suppose a doctor is being hired in the civil account service, is that okay, or it is a faulty human resource recruitment policy of the organization?
Sir, I think while finance background helps a little bit in understanding in the initial phase, it helps in understanding the rules and the accounting rules and financial management principles. But then these are something which can be attained through the training that government provides, that we have been also gaining. More than that, it's all about that irrespective of which background the person is coming from, it's about if one is able to identify the challenges within the process in itself, and how to improve those processes. So I think that requires an acumen of basically understanding of the supply, basically the chain of the process, organizational chain. So I think that is irrespective of any service, any background that one comes from. So I think that it's not faulty, and by UPSC ensures that the people who are selected are motivated enough to work for the government, and that is enough to learn all these skills afterwards.
So most of the civil service servants, they are giving the basic the aspirants. They are giving the exam to be selected in the top post services, right?
Yes.
Do you think these people are still motivated to work in the services which they get because they are not able to get the top services? What motivates them to work in such services?
Sir, while there are initial hiccups in terms of accepting that and we have seen that people keep on trying until they get IAS, IPS, or they have exhausted their attempts. But I have seen from my experience that once they have realized that they have landed into a particular service, then they try to do their best with the service, and also keep themselves abreast with the developments of that particular service. And with that, because one thing which is common to every person who is applying for civil services is to work for the country and in its improvement. So it doesn't matter that which all services one is part of, and everybody gets to work for that particular purpose. So I think that unites, that is basically a motivation factor which helps a person to work in these services.
Right. Then why are you trying to now work for the other services? I mean, you are saying that this is good service and all. So still you are trying for some other services. So any particular reason for that which you are not able to do here?
Sir, yes sir, there are few reasons. So one is that I have always wanted to work on the field. For example, sir, IAS and IPS provides an opportunity to work in the field and directly interact with the public. So that kind of motivates me that I would directly be able to hear the problems of the people and try to solve them out, which is not possible in case of Indian Civil Account Service, but because it is mostly a faceless service. Other than that, sir, also the diversity of the work that basically IAS and IPS can provide in terms of that dealing with law and order and also basically policy implementation and everything, while Indian Civil Account Service is mostly based on accounting and finance. So that is why I want to move towards that. But even if I'm not able to, I'm very much happy to serve in the Indian Civil Account Service with all my best efforts.
Right. How do you see the Indian Civil Accounting Service is, it may be better than the All India services which you are now trying for? Some good aspect of Indian Civil Account Service which you see which are not there in the All India services?
So one advantage that ICS provides is that in the initial period itself, we are attached with the ministries. So it's a very good platform to actually understand how the ministries function and how the policy execution is happening, and along with the policy framing also, because we interact with the secretaries also of the ministries. So that provides a very good platform. And also sir, along with that,
work-life balance, I think, is
work-life
better.
balance is then second thing.
Place of posting also.
Place of posting is in Delhi itself, so which is, if one wants to settle in Delhi, then it's a very good platform to do that. And also, sir, for example, some people are not that they do not want to go to generalized service, so it's a very specialized service where one can actually train themselves in a better way by also acquiring other degrees like CFA is there that one can do, that can actually help in servicing in the services also.
Do you think the salary structure of civil services is enough to stay in Delhi? I mean, a person who is civil account servant, do you think can lead a decent life in Delhi? That is, motivating enough this maybe you or your matchmates to work for this government?
Sir, sir, because accommodation and basically transport has been taken care of already by the government. We get houses in Delhi itself. We also.
But if you compare it with your MBA, like you did your IIM,
yes, sir.
Lucknow. So how much your batchmate might be getting now? Average salary. What is their average salary?
Sir, they would be at about crore.
Say 1 crore, right?
Yes, sir.
And your package here will be say 25 lakh, 30 lakh, all accumulative. then how will you motivate yourself to, see this gap of so much of salary, in the current scenario?
Sir, one is that I was always prepared for basically accepting a lower salary, because I knew that the difference would be huge because of the motivation that I have to work within the government and for the public sector that is there. And also, sir, the comparison should always be with basically our own objectives that we want to achieve in our career and our life. So I don't actually compare myself with other people who are, because they would have their own challenges, and so I always compare with what I have wanted to achieve. And I think that while the government is taking care of the accommodation and the transportation, so that salary is enough to do
Right.
well in the Delhi also.
So how will you apply your knowledge of MBA and civil account service in performing your job better at the grassroots level in the All India services?
Sir, I think that in terms of the MBA knowledge, I would say that it requires that basically the acumen of understanding the challenges, and also and then creating out solutions out of that. So I would, at the grassroots level, I would ensure that I am hearing to all the people, all the grievances that they have, and then putting up a team together and try to solve them, and also a proper execution of those policies and the implementation. And with respect to civil account service, I have closely witnessed in terms of the direct benefit transfer, that is one of the objectives of Indian civil account service. So and I understand that basically what are the challenges behind that. So when I am on the field, I would try to see that what are the reasons that still after DBT there are still people who are left out of certain schemes. So I would try to involve, for example, a policy mitras, which can go to the people, talk to them, and then tell them that you are entitled for all these different schemes, and hence and to make ensure that they are now part of the particular scheme implementations.
Okay. So what is the public finance management system?
Sir, PFMS is basically public financial management system is a tool, is an online tool, which is basically to streamline the financial devolution of funds from the central government to the state government, and also to the implementation agencies for the implementation of the schemes.
Okay. So is the Pradhan Mantri Kisan scheme a central sector scheme or central sponsored scheme?
So Pradhan
Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme.
6,000.
Yes.
Sir, it's a central sector scheme wherein 6,000 is entirely given by the central government.
Right. So central sponsored schemes are of three types. What are the three categories? Are you aware about that?
Sir, I am aware of the two, the core schemes and then core of the core schemes. The third one.
Third is the optional scheme.
Optional schemes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For example, Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Rural Urban Mission, which are started on the request of the states.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So in the district, like you want to work in the district level, so how can you use your knowledge to control the problem of poverty in your area? What steps you will take to reduce the poverty in your area specifically?
Sir, first is that identification of the reason behind the poverty. Basically, now we are talking about multidimensional poverty also. So we need to work on many different levels. So first is the income. By income they will be poor. So I will ensure that the people who are in the working age, their skills have to be identified and need to be certified, and to provide employment as per the skills that they possess. Then, sir, who are not in the working age population, for example, children, they need to be ensured that they are provided with the right education, and they are enrolled into the government schools, and also their education level has to be tracked year on year, so that they are just not being enrolled and after that they get dropped out. So that's to be ensured. And also, sir, health is one aspect which takes a lot of out-of-pocket expenditure from the poor. So health is one such initiative, one such sector where I would ensure that it's with quality healthcare is provided at free of cost to the poor people.
Right. what are the recent focus of budget, interim budget regarding the inclusive growth?
Sir, first is that basically the budget in itself talks about basically 4 pillars, which is farmers, women, youth, and one more pillar, sir, I'm forgetting right now. So these are all the inclusive.
Farmer, woman, poor and youth.
Poor and youth, yes, sir. So this is all basically overarching framework in which the budget wants to go forward. And sir, it is seen that basically the amount under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana has been kept the same as the last year, and also as a revised estimates that have been met, and also under Manrega Act. So that is also a demand based, and it has been promised that all the demand that's there in Manrega will be taken care of. And
okay, how can we improve the brand of the Khadi Gramodyog in India? And how can we promote Khadi? How can we do the branding of Khadi in India?
Sir, we can talk about the basically the quality of the quality and the feature of the fabric in itself. That what all benefits that fabric provides to the person, and also what we can do is that the khadi can be designers can be brought in, and design level of that particular khadi product can be increased. For example, which caters to the fashion of the current generation, so that can be done. And also by organizing different hearts and fests in the metropolitan areas also, and also other regions, the popularity of the brand can be increased.
Okay, how can you apply your knowledge of marketing management in doing this activity, in the branding of Khadi?
Sir, basically I would use STP process, segmentation, targeting and positioning. So identifying that what all segments, target segments can be catered to in terms of khadi, whether it age wise or maybe geography wise. Then also then targeting those particular segments by the required products. So maybe khadi dresses can be there, and khadi can be used also for, I think, creating some designer products. Some showpieces can be done. And positioning in terms of the khadi is currently seen as a product which is not very trendy, and
right.
So
like, do you think the perception about the government organizations is there are some errors in the perception regarding government organizations? Some perceptual errors are there? Do you think are there any perceptual error, or whatever people think about the government organization is right? Okay, in India especially we are talking public perception about government organizations.
Sir, public perception about government organizations, which I think is lacks the reality, is that first of all that they are said to be very basically, I would say that not very open to the end public, that they have to very, I mean, not very approachable. That is one. Then second is that basically the corruption is the second perception about the government, that everybody is corrupt in the government. Then also lack of innovative approach that is taken by the government.
So suppose I give you a situation. There is a loss making company, and in this company it is difficult to recover the money from the customers. Basically this is Discom, distribution company, power distribution company. There are political interventions at every level. In the recovery of billing there is a problem, and then prices are also controlled. Now you are appointed as the CMD of the company. Then how will you improve the finances of the government, and how will you finances of the company, and how will you motivate your staff to work? Because they are demotivated, company is losing, there are a lot of political interventions happening.
Sir, as a leader, first of all, I need to identify that what all challenges are there. For example, in terms of government also, then proper channel of communication with the government needs to be taken in place, so that the grievances that the government has with the company can be catered to, and basically
No, you are appointed as a new CMD of the company. So now you have to revive the organization.
now I have to, sir.
You have to revive the
Revive the
company.
company.
Yeah. Did you get the question? Are you answering the same question or?
So, what I understand is that basically the company is in distress,
Yes. Yes.
and now a new CMD has been appointed.
Yes. You are the
to
new
revive
CMD.
company.
Yes. To revive the company. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Sir, I would identify different divisions of the company which are profitable, which are not profitable, and which have been the result, which have been in the loss because of which distress is happening. Then I would focus more on the divisions which are performing well, and will redesign those which are not performing well. In terms of the employee motivation, I would ensure that the employees themselves are first heard, that what are their grievances with the company, and give them assurance that this is just a short-term challenge that the company is facing, and now we are entirely reviving the whole structure of the organization itself, and also talking with the government, basically building confidence that we are working on the challenges and it will be ironed out soon.
So what motivation technique you will use for that? How will you build the confidence?
So what I can remember as of now is basically the Hertzberg's two-factor theory, wherein basically first is that the reason of dissatisfaction of the employees need to be taken care of, that in terms of salary, timely salary need to be given, also their health benefits and everything needs to be taken care of, all the grievances, and in terms of the satisfaction level, that to increase that, to empower them with the right tools that they need to work, and also hearing them that if they are not satisfied with the current position, if they want to move to a different position where they think that they can contribute in a better way. So I would try to do that.
Okay. Suppose I give you a situation. There are some industries in area where you are posted as a DM. Now, in some industries, there is a problem of worker management tussles, right? It is resulting into violence among the workers, and it is spreading to the society. So, how will you handle the situation? There are regular tussles, regular industrial conflicts are there in the industry. So, how will you manage this situation and overall scenario?
Sir, first step would be identifying all the stakeholders involved, industries here, then the workers, and that worker union is also there. So first is that all of them have to be brought into a particular do a particular conference with them and understand the problems and challenges, and then basically because as it was mentioned that the violence is also there. So first is that session of violence, there is no acceptability of the violence in there. So I would ensure that no violence takes place. Then understanding them, then try to bring in solutions for both the parties that of the required problems, and sir, and then basically ensuring that your grievances would be taken care of, and government is there to support both the parties.
Okay. Suppose you are posted as the district magistrate, and there is a review of the schemes being implemented by you, and in this review some faults are found, and some allegation comes over you that there is a corruption from your part, right? This news is spread into the media, all over places. You are being criticized, right? And you know at the core that I have no default, it is not my fault, my decision is being interpreted in a wrong manner, right? So how will you handle this situation at personal level and at professional level?
Sir, at the personal level, it is basically the practice of emotional intelligence would come into place, wherein I would separate myself with the news going around, because I in my heart knows that I am not at fault, and and at the professional level, I would ensure that proper cooperation needs to be given from my side to the investigative agencies who are basically dealing into the matter, and any support that they require from my side will be given with all the evidences and everything. So I think being transparent and knowing that it's just a temporary thing, and because I am right, it would be come out sooner or later. That will help in handling the situation.
Right. Are you aware about the IFSC authority in India?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How the working of IFSC authority is different from the similar authorities like RBI, SEBI in India?
Sir, from what I know, that IFSC operates the gift city. So there, in terms of operations, RBI creates the rules which are applicable to all the banks, NBFCs within the country, and they are treated with the Indian laws. But with respect to IFSC, I think they create laws which are applicable just for the gift cities, and they are not applicable to the other companies, and just within that particular gift city.
So what is special? What is the special about these rules?
So special about these laws are that basically because the entities within the special economic zones and gift city are treated as the foreign entities, so they are not liable to pay certain duties and other things that domestic companies have to pay when they are exporting or to India. So in that sense, that they are also provide certain incentives to industries are provided some certain incentives to build their infrastructure in these spaces.
Right. So basically, if we talk about capital structure theories, normally it is an opinion of many thinkers that as we use more and more debt, it will bring more and more tax benefit, so the value of the company will increase up to certain level, right? But what we are seeing in the recent past, the companies who are deleveraging, the companies who are becoming debt free, these companies are getting more valuation in the market. So don't you think there is contradiction? And if this contradiction is there any theory which supports the current scenario of deleveraging of the companies?
Sir, it is with the theories also. It says that debt to a certain extent is good, but beyond a certain extent, it creates an impression in the market that the company would not be able to meet the debt obligation in the future. So while the companies who are reducing their debt have this advantage of creating an impression in the market that they are confident about their positions, and they basically are not taking debt. They are using their own profits to basically invest into the company to a particular growth. So they're expecting growth in the market. So I think that basically goes into the market too.
Okay. So there is signaling aspect.
Signaling aspect, yes.
Right. What are the limitations of the wealth maximization objective of financial management?
Sir, the limitations of wealth maximization would be that basically it does not take care of all the stakeholders. Wealth maximization basically talks about the stakeholders' wealth and increasing that. But what about environment, social sectors, and corporate social responsibility? So all these factors need to be taken care into consideration, just apart from wealth maximization.
Right. So what are the recent human resource policies of Government of India? Some 2-3 policies, can you count?
Sir, first is the national education policy. It will feed into the human resource of India by educating people and increasing their skills. Then Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana also works on the skill development and providing them with the certificates of their skills. And sir, Hunar Hearts is also one of the initiatives wherein the skills of the artisans is identified to provide them employment and building human resources.
And there is Mission Karmayogi also.
Mission Karmayogi is a flagship government training program,
Right,
sir.
right. Do you think the principles of the tailor are applicable in the current context?
Sir, I think it has a limited applicability only, because tailor is focusing more on the aspects of refining the tasks that needs to be done by a scientific approach, but it lacks the human aspects of that, because now the human resources needs to be motivated, and basically their behavior has to be improved in terms of improving their performance to the overall achievement. So it has just a limited applicability, sir, today, I would say.
Okay, what is one thing that you dislike about All India services?
Sir, I am not able to think as of now at this point in time.
Okay. What is inflation and growth trade-off?
Sir, I have a limited knowledge about that. Sir, I think that a little bit of inflation is important, that it leads to the growth. But then, if inflation goes very high, then it also leads to the decrease in growth, because then demand and the consumption will go down, so that it can eat into the growth of the particular country.
Okay. What is the problem in the Paytm issue, which is there in news? Do you think it is a regulatory failure or something else?
So the issue with the Paytm is that despite repeated observations and guidelines given by RBI to the Paytm about this basically not adhering to the KYC norms, then taking deposits beyond a certain limit in the payments bank. So because of that, they have been giving certain notices in the past, which Paytm has not adhered to and has not meant. So it's not a regulatory failure, I would say, because RBI is doing its job in the right manner, and it has also given certain warnings before taking this final step that they are not allowed to take any more deposits. It is lack on the part of the Paytm that they should have tried to basically adjust to what RBI has been telling them to do so for a long time.
Right. What are some of the corporate governance problems which we see in the recent times in India? With some practical example you can explain.
Sir, I think the corporate governance problem can be that the organizations of the board of directors in itself, that one or two of them can have a higher say over the others and not taking the consideration of the shareholders or the stakeholders involved. So that sometimes leads to the decisions that are in one's own personal benefit of the director, but not the company in itself. For example, we had seen, I think, in Yes Bank crisis that happened, that decisions that were taken were not within the profit of the company, but for the individual gains. So that is one corporate governance issue.
One example you have given. Okay. Recently there has been news about investigation of Bajus by the SFIO. So under which act SFIO does this investigation?
Sorry sir, I am not aware of the act.
Okay. What is section 7 of the RBI Act?
Sir, I think it is related to the government and RBI, basically communication between them, but I'm not able to recall the exact details of section 7.
Right, okay. What is the recent monetary policy stance of the government?
So the repo rate has been kept the same at 6.5% with the stance of withdrawal of accommodation.
Okay, what is withdrawal of accommodation exactly? Can you explain it in detail?
So basically, accommodation means to increase the liquidity in the market by decreasing the repo rate And withdrawal of accommodation is just the reverse of that. That basically the RBI is not planning to decrease the interest rate further, because they expect that inflation is still on a higher side. That if they decrease the interest rate, then the liquidity will increase, and this will increase the inflation in the economy, which is not good.
Okay. What is Black-Scholes model of options valuation?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware.
Okay. Any other model of valuation of companies you can explain? Any model of company valuation?
I'm not aware about this.
Okay. Why does this happen? These companies, like how does it happen that some companies get very high valuation at one point of time? Like we can say in case of Bajus, couple of years back, this value was $10 billion, then $20 billion. If we go back to 3 years back, now it is just $1 billion. So, do you think it is all perception-based valuation, or it is like there is some problem in the valuation of companies? Some other problem?
Sir, one problem that can be there is that maybe the existing investors might have lost confidence in the business, and they are now selling the shares at a very fast pace, because of which the price of the share comes down, and that leads to the problem for the retail investors. Other than that, sir, I think just not about the person, but the corporate governance problems can also be there, because of which. But yes, sir, perception also plays an important role. Other than that,
are you aware about the concept of bottom fishing?
Bottom fishing? No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, in stock market, some companies face high fluctuation of their prices. So, what can be the possible reason that the prices are moving suddenly very fast or suddenly going very down? Is there any involvement of some big fishes in moving these prices?
So definitely, because definitely I think there can be some big investors who are basically doing the arbitrage, taking the benefit of the arbitrage opportunities, and then sell the stocks, or maybe buy the stocks on a very large scale. That the prices of
okay, there is a name given to such investors. Are you aware about that name?
Sorry, sir, not aware.
Okay. Normally we call them operators.
Operators.
Yes. Informally. This is an informal word. Are you aware about the recent consultant hiring, which is very much popular in the ministries?
Yes, sir, I'm aware.
So what is your take on that? I mean, is it because of increasing use of specialization, or is it a failure of the human resource policy of the government of India, that it is not hiring the people on a regular basis, rather it is hiring the people on ad hoc basis?
Sir, I would say that there is definitely requirement for the specialists when it comes to some projects which have just come up, and in some new technology. For example, AI is now building up. So for that, in the initial phase, we need some help of the consultants, because training of the people inside the organization will take some time. But in the long term, we need to ensure that our own persons inside the government, they need to be trained and be prepared for the technology of the futures, so that the expenditure on the consultants that is done at this point in time can be decreased, and also people within the organization feel enabled, that they are being selected for those positions which have been given to the consultants.
What is the concept of opportunity cost?
Sir, opportunity cost is basically the cost of the next best alternative that was foregone to basically get one thing.
So in the calculation of MSP, minimum support price, recently MS Swaminathan ji was in news because of government announcing that Bharat Ratna is to be given.
Yes.
So in the calculation of MSP, do we have some element of opportunity cost, or we take only the cash cost?
Sir, we do have element of opportunity cost in terms of basically family labor, A2 plus FL. So family labor is accounted for that. For example, they are working in the agricultural field right now.
And what is the view of the MS Swaminathan ji regarding this?
Sir, I think from what I know is to increase that, not just the labor but also include the capital investments, maybe the house
Capital investment, rental
also to be
cost of
included.
capital. Yeah, very true. That is, yeah. Okay. How much is the profit in the MSP part? Like it is A2 plus FL. Then how much is the profit of
So 50%.
50%, 1.5 times, right? Basically, Abhishek, as you come from a very premier college, right? When you get posted in a very remote area, when people come to know about your profile, they feel a bit disconnected because they feel you are very highly qualified person, right? You have got education from very premier education, they will not feel connected with you. So how will you make them connected with you at the ground level? What can you do to make yourself available for the people and ensure that they are connected with you?
Sir, first is that because I have lived in metropolitan area Ghaziabad and also educated in PM institutes. So my internal wish is to actually now understand more of the other side of the basically the country that we have, the rural background. So I myself is motivated enough already to know about the challenges and the basically how the rural economy functions. So by understanding that first, when I'm interacting with them, so I would already be aware of the problems that they are facing and the reasons of that. So by communicating with them effectively, I think I would be able to convince that I am, and I will ensure them by my acts also. For example, their grievances, I would try to settle very swiftly in the initial phase, so that they feel confident that okay, this person is for our benefit and working for us only.
Right. So government faces a problem of the data management. There are so many data, and sometimes the data is also conflicting. Reports are also conflicting. Some agency giving some report, other agency giving another report. Then both the reports are in conflict with each other, right? So can you apply some knowledge of your quantitative technique which can help solve this problem of data discrepancy and duplication of effort and all? What exactly the government is missing that can be done to improve the data quality and the data integrity?
Sir, I think that data management principles need to be adopted here. So, for example, first of all, rather than bucketing data into different areas, we need to first bring it into the one platform and also reduce any duplication entries, and normalization also of the data needs to be taking place. So, and also creating a platform not wherein the data can give certain required information also. So that all things I think can be.
Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you, Abhishek.
Thank you, sir.